Hey folks, Father Pratik from CG Virus here. Today we're going to see how to create a Sprite sheet player in Blender Shadow Editor. So you can download the notebook from our GitHub repo. The link will be in the description. Just download it from there. And yeah, after downloading it, let's open up Blender and let's create a mesh plane. It will be alright. So here we go, and let's go to the shadow editor, create a new, press F4, append, and here is your Sprite sheet player. So go to the node tree, and this should be the one. Here we go. So now if we go here, Sprite sheet player. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so here is a Sprite sheet 5x5. So it's basically some cell. Okay, it's basically some cell of animation. Okay, so this should be the number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So that's how the cell is going. Sorry, from here. Okay, it's going here. So usually it is used heavily in games, so I need a project where I need to use this kind of stuff. So yeah, so made it. Okay, so let's import it and let's see how to work with it. So let's drag our texture here, and let's go to Shift A, Group, Sprite Sheet. Okay, so this is a 5x5 spreadsheet. So if you want to see it here, so let's go image editor here. Okay, you can see it's a 5x5 spreadsheet, like 1 2 3 4 5. So rows has 5, 1 2 3 4 5, column has 5, so it's a 5x5 grid. All right, so what we can do here is basically go to assign the UV editor to the image editor and Ctrl Shift to see it in action here somewhere. All right, so let's define the rows first. So X row, that is this. Okay, in X axis it is 5. Let's type 5, and in Y column it is 5. So let's type 5. So now you're going to see your elements here. Here we go, and this is the frame. Okay, so if I increase the frame, it will continue to render. Here we go. If I decrease the frame, it will decrease the render. So something like that. And we're using repeat in image node. Okay, you need to use a repeat. Actually, for spreadsheet we always use repeat. Anyway, so we can automate this frame function, this frame not a function, this frame integer with Shift A. Let's go for frame. So scene frame, we can use scene frame here. Okay, now if I animate play it, it will play the frame. Okay, here we go. So now let's assign it to the base color, and probably in emission as well we can use it. Emission color somewhere here, and we have an alpha, built-in alpha, so just copy it here somewhere here. And for the material setup, go to the material section, go to the transparent material, that is this one. By default it is ditert. We can use blended. Okay, here it is. So now if we play it, it will give us this. Okay, there we go. All right, now there are some features we can use. Let's play in reverse. We can play it in reverse, so it will be reversed. There we go. All right, and now we can use a frame range as well. So suppose I want to avoid these 3 frames, so we can start from frame 4. Range frame first. Okay, range first frame is 4, and the last frame probably is that is 5 by 25, so it should be the 25. So let's use 25 here. Okay, And now if I uncheck the reverse, it will be something like this. Okay, here we go. It is gapping edge here. So if I go to 0, you can see something different, right? So play 4, and maybe last frame is something like 20 or something, if you want to. Yeah, you can do it like that as well. All right. So let's see some other examples. Let's go for something else. Let me see. All right, so here is a flame that is 16 by 4. So type 16 and 4, and let's play it here. All right, and there is another one if you want to see. This one is not a good loop. It's there are some loop problem. That means the shader has some problem. So if you want to see just 15 by 4, so it is. Let's go to the 15 by 4, and let's go to 15. Here we go, and it may look like this, right? I mean, yeah, not this one. Let's go for this one. Yeah. Right, so there are some loop problems. The spreadsheet was faulty, so yeah, everything is all fine. Anyway, another one we can see. Let me see if we have something like this, 8 by 8 fire. So let's open it. Fire 8 by 8. So let's go to 8 and 8. There we go, and probably the alpha should be this. Yeah, like that. Okay, if you don't want to use alpha, that's all fine. There you go. Right, so yeah, that's it. So if you want to see the making of these huge node tree, you're welcome. We'll do it next, and if you don't, that's it. So download it and play it. Enjoy. All right, bye bye. All right, so let's start the making of the fun, the real fun here. So first of all, we need a chart to test our stuff. So yeah, so these are all cells. All right, it's a 8 by 8 cell. Okay, and yeah, so let's start working on it. First thing first is basically let's create an UV. See what is happening here. So if I go to this here, or let's create an image first. So let's create an image texture, and let's assign it to here. So press Ctrl Shift, and let's go to shadow. Okay, so what is happening here? Well, you can see that if we go to the UV, there we go, the whole UV is scaled here. So first of all, what we need to do is basically scale it down to a single cell, something like this. Okay, we need to scale it down to a single cell. Okay, something like that. So how to do it? Okay, we will use some basic math here. So it's a 8 by 8, right? It's a 8 by 8 grid. So if we can divide rows and columns, that means 8 and 8, from the total UV, we can have these A1 as a separate cell. So it's basic division. Okay, so what we need to do here is let's go for the total UV here. We have the UV here, this object UV, and let's separate the XYZ first. Okay, so this is the X and this is the Y. So the coordinate system goes from here. So A1 is basically the 0. So yeah, so now what we want to do here is basically we are going to create a divide node, math divide, and select it here, and we're going to divide it from something else later. So let's create this and press Shift D, and let's go for Y, that is also a divide. Okay, and now we're going to create two values. Value node, that is an integer, actually integer. So what are these values? These are basically our X row, I mean X row, and let's create another one. Let's name it Y column. Okay, column or whatever. Yeah, so this will be our X column, that is 8. We have 8 row. This is the 8 row, H1 to H8, and we have Y column, that is 8 column from H8 to A8, right? So 8 column. So 8 column and 8 row. So what we need to do here is basically this is the X divided by X row. So the total X is divided by our X row. Total Y column is divided by Y column. 8 columns. Okay. So now what we need to do is basically combine it. So I'll combine X with Z. This is X and this is Y. We don't need Z because UV is 2-dimensional. So here we go, the vector. And now let's see it. Here we go. You have a 1. So what it is doing, we are separating the UV of X and Y. So total X, total Y, we are separating them. Then we are dividing this total number of columns, total number of column, that is total number of X with 8 divided by 8, total number of Y divided by Y, and then we are combining it simply in a vector. That means we will have a single cell and it will always work. Okay, so this is the basic of everything. So yeah, let's see. Okay, now what we need to do is basically select the cell and traverse it from A1 to A2, A2 to A3, something like that. So what we can do is basically simply create an add node, basic math add, and now if we value it plus 1, it will become 2. Okay, A2, it transpose to A2. If I go to 2, it will go to A3. If I go to 3, it will go to A4, something like that. Okay, which is good. Now let's create this similar thing, Shift D, add, and go to the Y component as well. And these are same. So yeah, the Y component. And now if we go to 1, it will go to B1 somewhere. From A1, it is going to B1. If we go to 2, it will go to C1, so on and so forth. Something like that. Now what we need is basically a system where with every frame change or every 1 bit, this A1 should shift to A1 to A2, A2 to A3. So that is something like this. In every frame change, it will go to this right column, okay, right row. So A1, A2, A3, A4, if A1 to A8, then it will go to B1 to B8, then it will go to C1 to C8, something like that. Okay, so we need algorithm. So what we can do here is basically we can use maths, and a very popular one for this kind of loop we can use is modulo, truncated modulo. Okay, truncated modulo. So with it, what we can do is basically we can give it a number, how much time it will loop through a number. We are saying 8 row. If it's a 8 row, then let's connect it to row 8 row. And now we're going to give it a value, that is a time. So something like let's create an integer for now. Let's get an integer. So it will become our time frame, and here. So every 8 frame, after every 8 frame, it will ping back to A1. So let's see what happens. Let's connect it to add. Now if I go 1 frame, let me see. We need to swap it. Press Alt and swap it here. Now in every frame change, if we go here, it will change. Okay, A5 to A6, A7, A8. Now let's see what modulo does. Let's go to press there. Now it is pinged back to A1 again, right? So it goes like this, and then go back to this, something like that. A1 to 8, A1 to 8. That's how it's going to work. All right. So first one is done. Now for convenience, we are going to use a floor node as well. So floor, math floor. So what it does is basically it will strip down the decimal point. If you had decimal point, something like, suppose a float, where are you? Okay, value, yeah, it's a float. So suppose it has a decimal point, so you can see that it will 0.3, 0.4 will not be a problem. So if I disable the floor, you will see that it's going like this. I don't want this. I need the integer number. Okay, so here we go. So it will strip down the decimal and always give you the integer. So here we go. So we're going to use a floor node here as well. Okay, so now the x1 is ready. The x plus x is ready. Okay, so it will go like this, this and this. Now we need to take care of y. Okay, so now it's time for up it. So that is up it to y, something like this. 1, up it to b2. Okay, if we go here, integer, yeah, up it to b1, then press 2 and it will be c1, something like that. So we need to add it, add 1 after 8 rows. That is, whenever we cross the 8 row, 8 number column, whenever we end the 8 number column, this one, okay, this one, whenever we end the 8 number column, go here, b1. Okay, so that's what we need to do. So for this matter, we can use division. So if I go to 8 by 8, it will be 1. Okay, if I go to 16 by 8, it will be 2, something like that. So 16 by 8, it will be 2. So something like that, we can use this algorithm for creating our floor. So let's see. So we need a division math. So if I go to the divide math, and now we are going to connect it to probably here and here. Let me see. Yeah, it will be swapped. Okay, so now in the row, after finishing 8th row, it will be divided by 8 and it will give us 1. So let's see how it works. Show it here. If we go here, you can see it is changing, but not quite exactly how we wanted to. What is happening here? Okay, what is happening is basically we need a floor, shift D, floor. Now if we go here, it will not change. So what is happening? The thing is happening is basically 8 divided by 1 is something like point something. So if we go to the calculator, 8 divided by 1, sorry, not 1 divided by 8, yeah, 0.125. Okay, so it is without floor, it is approaching like 0.125. Then it is going to 2 by 8, that is 1 divided by 4. Okay, you understand? Then it is going for something like 1 divided by 3, something like 3 divided by 8, so 0.375, something like that. We don't need that. We need full number. So use a floor. So when it goes to number 8 here, number 8, it will up a 1 because 8 divided by 8 is equal to 1. Similarly, if we go to 16, go 16, it will become, yeah, it will become number 3. So that's how we can actually y up, we can go to y up direction. Okay, simple. So here is basically the maths all over the place. So you can see by triangulation, with modulo and floor, we are going to x direction, and by divide and floor, we are going to y direction. That's how basically the flipbook works. So now we're going to enhance it a little bit and do some magic. So let's see. Okay, so first fix, you can see that this whole math is based on zero based index. Okay, that means if we go to 0, it will be a1. If we go to a1, it will be a2. But our timeline is 1. Our timeline is based on 1. So what we can do is basically we can create a subtract node, and let's give it a -1. Sorry, not -1, 1. So from that, it will be from now it will be 1 is equal to a1, 2 will become a2, 3 will become a3, something like that. Okay, so it will start from 1 and a. So now it is 1 based index. Number 1 is fixed. Number 2, you can see we have a problem here, that our system goes from a1 to h8. Okay, if we see, if we increase it, it goes from a1 to h8. So something like this, somehow. Yeah, but in traditional sprite frame, what we will see that it goes from h1 to a8. So something like this. So completely reverse technology. So how to do it? Okay, first what we need is basically go to a1, and let's go to this y section, that is this and this, the y section, that is the y column. And in y column, after the floor node, these two, what we can do is basically create a shift a math subtract and give it 1. Now you can say what is happening here. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go to here, and if we repeat the image, you will see that this was our a1. Okay, this was our a1. So what I'm doing is basically, as we can repeat it, as we can repeat this image, what we are saying that we don't need this a1, we need to shift it from a1 from here, h1. Okay, because it's a repeat image, so it will go here, h1. So repeat the image from h1, then start collecting to h2 and everything. So this is the basic math. Okay, so we're shifting our a1 to h1 here. Suppose it was not in repeat, it was in clip, you would see black, but we're using repeat, so it is going to be h1. So number 1 is fixed. Now if we go here, you can see h3, h7, and then immediately it goes to, from h8 immediately goes to a1 again. So how to resolve it is basically create another multiply node and give it a reverse, because it is going in reverse order. That's why that was the problem. Okay, so now from now, if we go to 1 h8, then it will go to g1. Okay, now it's going to g1, now it's going to f1. So the sequence is in order. So that's what we did, a multiply with -1 and a subtract with 1. Okay, there you go. You can snap it if you want to. All right, so yeah, that was 2 fixes. So let's see. Okay, we are going to start a complex setup here now. So this is the core loop we have done so far. Okay, so now let's go to the preview range, that means the frame range system. So let's use integer and I'm going to name it first frame, and we're going to use a last frame. Here we go. So this will be first frame and this will be last frame. So we need a system for a Boolean checkup. So let's create a Boolean. So if the frame range starts, then we need something, and if the frame range is not start, we need something else. So if the Boolean is Boolean is checked, it will be the frame range setup, and if it's not, then the traditional setup will go. So where it is this subtract and thing, we're using frame. Okay, so we can use scene node here right now. We don't need frame, so let's go to frame. So this frame is basically the timeline frame here. Okay, for our convenience. So now let's set up the Boolean here. If it's a Boolean, what will happen? Okay, so if it's a Boolean, I mean if it's a preview range or frame range, if it's a frame range, what we need to do here is basically, let's create a truncated modulo. So modulo, truncated modulo, and we're going to connect it to here. Yeah, so truncated modulo, what it will do, we're going to use the subtract node, that is a frame change node here, and we're going to give it the last frame. So suppose the last frame is 20. Okay, so last frame is 20. So what it will do, it will go through these h1, and it will be 21, 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it will end at f4. Let's see. Here it is f4, then it pop back to h1. Okay, f4, h1. Okay, so f4 was the end. So first thing first is done. The last frame is done. It was simple. The second one is a bit complicated, so we're going to do it, no problem. So let's create a subtract node, subtract math. Okay, this subtract math will have the last frame here and the first frame connected here. Okay, so it will create a buffer. That means something like this kind of setup. Okay, so it will create a bracket for us. So we need this bracket. So now if we create if we replace these last frame with subtract node, it will do our job fine. So now if I start a first frame something like 4, that is then it should be h4, but it is not. So what is missing is basically an offset, a basic offset. These are the magic things. Okay, these are the things happens inside a loop. So we're going to use an offset, and this offset should be range first frame. Here we go. Now it is starting at h5. Okay, after 4 frames. So we have, here is our 4 frames, and after that it will start at h5. There we go. Now it is starting at h5, and it should last for f4. Done. Okay, the technology is ready. There we go. Okay, let's organize it a little bit, because I know, Shift P, and let's give it frame range. Now we're going to talk about another one, that is reverse, play in reverse. So let's see. Okay, for reverse we also need a Boolean. So let's give it a Boolean, bool, and we are also going to use mix node. So if play in reverse is disabled, go for the used to thing here. Okay, and if play in reverse is enabled, then we need to do something else. So let's use a multiply add node. We're going to use a simply multiply add node, and we're going to use -1 and -1 in both. Sorry, it should be connected here, something like this, and then here. Okay, so it will be something like that. So if the what is say reverse is enabled, then go for multiply minus and multiply add. So now it is going for A8 here. So our starting frame is first frame 0. Let me see. Yeah, so first frame, instead of H1, which was there, let me show you. Here we go. It was H1. It is now completely reversed to A8. Okay, and we're using a limit frame that is 20. That is 8H16. Let me see. It should be C4 or C5. There we go. It is going. Yeah, C5. So it is using the limit range of C5, and then pop back to A8. So it is working. So if we disable the preview range, it will go for C4 and then C3, C2. So it's a completely opposite direction. So it is going from these to these, something like that. Okay, so either you can go from here or you can go from there. Okay, this, something like that. Okay, H BH. Okay, doom, something like that. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. So now let's group it up and let's finish it. Okay, so to group it up, from frame to combine X, these things. So press Ctrl G to group. Now let's select everything, press N, go to group. Here we go. So the vector should be named UV vector, and let's go to the group input. This our frame. It should be an integer. Then we will have another integer. So let's create an input float integer, and it will be X rows. Then create an duplicate item. This is Y columns. There will be a boolean. So let's go for boolean. It will be play reverse. Then we will have another duplicate. It will be use frame range. And then we'll have another integer range first frame, and then duplicate it to range last frame. There we go, done. So these are the inputs and outputs. So let's just simply connect it to all. So let's go here. This is the first frame, the range first frame. Let's connect it here, and seems like only one. So let's range last frame here. You don't need those, just stick it there. What is the boolean? What this boolean does is basically use frame range. So we're going to use this instead. We don't need it. And this boolean, what it does is basically preview the range in play reverse. There you go. Well done. Now let's use X frame, X row, that is an X row, and we have a Y column. Let me give it a thing here, Y column. There we go. And this is the frame, so it should be subtract. Here we go. So yeah, that's it. Now let's test it. Let's give it a 8x8, 8x8. Let's go. Yep, there we go. Should be 64. There we go. 64 is 8 and H1 perfectly working. Okay, so let's use some texture and let's play it, and let's give it a finalized look. So let's see the explosion 5x5. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Here we go. Alright, explosion 5x5, so it should be here. So it's 5x5. Let's see. Boom, boom. Okay, boom, boom, done. So let's go to play reverse. Yo. Okay, it's done. Use frame range, something like 5 to 20. Oh, sorry, not this one. Yeah, this one. Doom. Okay, let play reverse. Perfect. So it's done. So thanks for watching. I'm Father Simpleton from CG Virus, and we're going to see you next time. Bye bye.